Have you ever wondered how people successfully graduate with first-class degrees? I bet you have. Well, today we have two amazing people that achieved this feat and are here to share their stories. And we have Sheyi and Moi. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's start with Sheyi. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
My name is Oyebanji Oluwaseyi Christiana. I'm 20 years old. I'm a recent graduate of Babcock University, Nation Remo, Ogun State, and I've earned a degree in History and International Studies. I am an aspiring diplomat. I am a culture enthusiast, and I'm a child of God.
Nice. What about you, Moi?
Okay, my name is Olatunde Moyoluwa Mary. I am a lawyer. I was called to the bar March this year, and I graduated from Osun State University, Osogbo, with a first-class degree in law, and I was the best graduating student in 2021.
Wow, I would love to hear how you were able to achieve this.
I look forward to sharing it.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Okay, well, I would start by saying it was not a very easy journey for me because I spent 6 years in school. So I started in 2015. I gained admission in 2015. It was a little bit easy navigating the environment in school at that time because my brother was already studying law in the same school. So my reading routine was just basically, I think it was different all around. In 100 level, I read with a friend. 200 level, I basically read on my own. I would go to school late in the evenings with my carpet. I had a very special carpet then because I didn't want to sleep on my bed in the hostel. So I would go to class, read. If I felt sleepy, I would sleep and then continue my reading all on my own. Then 300 level, I fell sick during the first semester. So I was away from school for about 2 months and I was on admission at home in Ilorin. And then I had to resume back to school for the second semester. So that meant that I did my second semester without a very solid knowledge of the first semester courses because our courses are like in parts. There's like law of thought 1 and then there's law of thought 2. But I was able to navigate through. Then 400 level, I also read on my own. I think that was when I began to really utilize the library. I became very popular in the library at that time. Then 500 level also, I read on my own too, using the library. Then after my 500 level, my mates had to leave because I had an extra semester. I think that was the most turbulent part of my journey in school. But ultimately, I made it, and that's why I'm here today, of course.
Wow, that's really inspiring. What about you, Sheyi?
For me, I entered into Babcock University through direct entry. So I did not write JAM, so I had to do JUPEB. And from JUPEB, I was able to gain admission to Babcock through direct entry. So I started in 200 level with my other direct entry mates, were 4 of us. And starting school at that period, I've not created any goals. I've not set any goals for myself. So I had not even looked towards like getting a first-class degree. I just wanted to go through school because it was kind of a struggle for me to get into school in the first place. And so fast forward to my 300 level, we got joined to the rest of my mates that were studying History and International Studies as well. And so from there, I was able to mingle with a lot of people who had goals, who had great academic goals. And so I began to see myself, striving to the top. And at that point, I hadn't gotten, my CGPA wasn't up to the first class. It was still in the second class upper. And, I was, working towards trying to attain what I wanted to achieve my goal. And at the end of the day, it was in my final semester that I actually got a first class, which was the glory of God because I had always set goals for myself after every semester when I see my results. When I see my results, I don't let it discourage me at all. I always look ahead, think of what is ahead. And I had a system. I used to write all of my courses down, and I would write an A next to every single one of the courses because I was prophesying it for my future. And so that system worked for me at the final semester, which I'm grateful to God for. So that has been my academic journey in a sum.
All right, so what did you study in school and what motivated you to pick that as your field of study?
Yeah, I studied History and International Studies.
Okay.
And that's, my choice of the course of study, was was as a result of my mom's influence. So while I was younger, I'd always thought that I was going to study law, but a seminar I attended, made me realize I had no passion for law. And I went home that day, spoke to my mom about it, and she told me, she asked me what subjects I liked, and I said French and geography. And so, she told me that I could be a diplomat. At that time, I did not know what a diplomat was. So I went on Google that day to Google who a diplomat is and what I can study if I want to be a diplomat. And so I did, and ever since then, I've always been saying that I'm going to study international relations. And so fast forward like 2 years later, we moved to Zambia because my mom was on a diplomatic mission. And the new environment and the school I was attending at the time really influenced my decision, and it really encouraged me more to look into what the international affairs is all about. And so I had the opportunity to mingle with a lot of people from different cultural backgrounds. My school had over 20 plus nationalities, so I had the opportunity to mingle with people whose parents were equally diplomats, and that really encouraged me more to discover what this course was about and to know what the international system is like, and that's where I am today.
So basically, your mom sort of influenced your choice of course to study and all. So what about you, Moyi? Was that the same thing for you?
Yes and no. Yes, because my dad is a lawyer, and I also have a brother who is a lawyer.
Okay.
And no, because my daddy actually wanted me to become a doctor and study medicine, but eventually I just felt like it was going to be nice going to court, defending people and all of that. So it was a personal decision. I was personally motivated to study law. So my answer would be yes, my dad, in a way, because he's a lawyer and I see his diligence, how he reads almost every day. He comes home with big case files and all of that, big textbooks. And then it would be no, because he actually wanted me to be a doctor, but all the same.
So
personal decision.
How was it like for your dad when you said you wanted to be a lawyer? Was he happy, or he still wanted you to be a medical doctor?
Well, he was eventually happy, because I think we also prayed, and it was more of, we felt like, okay, I shouldn't be a doctor. God wasn't speaking to us in that direction. I also had my own personal convictions. And I think that for my dad, ultimately, if he's aware that, okay, he feels that this is the way God wants us to go, then he's always willing to bend at any point in time. So he became okay with the decision, and he was happy.
All right, so from conversing with both of you, I understand that you hold like very strong beliefs. Your faith plays like crucial roles in school and all of that. Can you share that with us?
Firstly, the Holy Spirit has always been my best friend. My journey through school would not have been as easy as it was if I did not have my faith in God and if I did not have a relationship with God, because everything had always been made easy for me. Sometimes when I had courses that were so difficult for me to understand, and I just prayed to God, you know what, you are the one that's going to write this exam for me. I'm not writing this exam myself. I found that I would even do far better than courses that I had confidence in myself. So my faith in God has really been everything. He has made things easy. Whenever I pray to Him concerning certain things, I always see them coming to pass. And I've also discovered that trusting God, and just letting go of control, and just giving Him the full control makes things easy. And so that has helped me a whole lot and has brought me where I am.
All right. What about you, Moyi?
Okay, I would say yes. My faith in God was really a strong support system for me to be who I am today. I remember that I had incidences in school where I was really confused. I had courses that was really scary, and then I would go to God in prayers, and then He would come through for me, just give me understanding. In fact, there was a particular exam I wrote where I just knew that one particular question was going to come out, and I was shocked when I got to the exam. I had a very strong knowing, and I felt that this is God leading me. When I got to the exam, I saw that question, so my faith in God played a very major role. Yes.
Nice. So back to you, Sheyi. You studied in Zambia. What's the difference between studying in both countries, and how has studying in Zambia sort of affected your career positively or negatively?
Okay, when I was in Nigeria, before I left to Zambia, I was in art class, And when I moved to Zambia, I discovered that the school I attended at the time, Horizon Schools, they did not have that split. You can't just say you are in an art class or science class, even up to the final grade, grade 12. So you have to do all courses. So I was doing biology, chemistry, accounting, all of that. And I had no idea. So I was supposed to be in grade 11 at the time. And, they placed me in grade 10 because they said I had no background knowledge of these new courses that I was getting introduced to. How was I going to cope? But my parents really convinced the school. I was like, put this girl in grade 11 or try her for this semester, for this term rather. And then if she does well, you can put her in grade 11. And so they had an agreement with my parents. And, by the grace of God, I was able to scale through. At the time when I got to the school, it was second term. So it was second term in grade 10. And the school, they were really surprised. And, they had this fear that how is she going to cope grade 11, third term with these new courses? But they still put me there anyways. At the end of the day, with God's help, honestly, and with encouragement from my parents, and one of my head teachers, who was a Nigerian, by the way, she really had so much confidence in me, always saying that Nigerians had the ability to do whatever they wanted to do. And so that really pushed me through. Getting knowledge from different areas, from different subjects, really expanded my vision and really expanded my knowledge in other areas. It taught me that I could study whatever I want to study, and I can have knowledge of whatever I want to have knowledge of. And that was, a very significant factor in my academics rather. And then also the environment, the cultural environment in Zambia was pretty much peaceful. Zambia is a very peaceful country. They're very friendly people and they are nature lovers. And then going there has helped me to, love nature. I'm a nature lover as well, because they love nature, and the focus of their economy is in mining, agriculture, and tourism. And that has really helped them to create a peaceful environment for tourists and the local people to live in. And so that kind of, very balanced environment also shaped my desire to study history and international studies.
All right, back to you, Moeen. Were you always a higher achiever, or something happened in the university and made you say, I have to graduate with first class?
Well, I've always been a high achiever. I think in my primary school, when I was in primary 3, I started leading my class. And then from primary 4, I skipped primary 5 and I just moved directly to primary 6. We had this double promotion system in my school where very intelligent people would write an exam, and if they passed, they would move on to primary 6 without having to pass through primary 5. So I did that. And then even in my secondary school, I graduated as the best. I clinched all the prizes for art students, including mathematics, even though I was an art student at the time. And then getting into university also, I came out the best. So I think I've always been a high achiever. It's not just that it landed on me in my university.
But sometimes it's not easy to keep up with that standard that you started with. So what kind of made you feel like I need to maintain this standard?
That's a big question. Well, I was just really motivated, personally motivated, and I just felt like this is something I've been doing before this time. And I think my parents also, they were a major source of encouragement for me. They kept on telling me that, oh, you are your only competition. And with that mindset of being my only competition, I felt that, oh, I could only be better than I'd always been. And so I think that was it.
Shay, you've been nodding your head. You're accepting what she said. So
yes.
What about you? Have you always been, a higher achiever?
Yes, I have. I've always hated mediocrity. Just like she said, when I was younger, I was always getting the best prizes in every single grade that I was in. And even when I went to Zambia, I graduated amongst the best students. And I even attained a scholarship, a Xiamen scholarship to Malaysia. And, all of these achievements I've had so far, whenever when I was in school, I would just look back and be like, there's no way I can drop now. So I always pushed harder, worked harder. And funny enough, when other people are always like studying and just like reading their books, they're just, they're always on their books. I was always on my phone because my phone was always like the best place for me to study. You would not find me with a book. So people used to think that, I'm not studying. People think I'm too playful, but they would not know that I am either studying on my phone or I'm watching a YouTube video, because YouTube videos help me a whole lot, especially with history. And, ensuring, having at the back of my mind that, I cannot afford to fail, because my future self is going to thank me. So I was always striving to work hard to ensure that I achieve the best results.
You said you were always studying with your phone. How were you able to manage distractions from focusing, manage the distraction, and focusing on your studies?
It was definitely not easy. I had many times where I was trying to battle. I had a battle in my mind between keeping my Instagram or my other social media or deleting them. And I just had to, I had to come to a conclusion that, what, if I am going to succeed, I cannot keep having distractions. So I used to turn off notifications. I just used to focus on whatever I was watching. And also, funny thing, I loved watching movies, as a form of entertainment. Sometimes I would not want to study and I want to watch a movie. So I kind of trained my mind in a way that if I'm going to watch a movie, it has to be something that's educational, so that I'm not feeling guilty. I am learning something that would help my future. So I had like a list of movies that had to do with international relations and history. And so I felt like if I'm watching them while getting entertained, I can also have, I can pick something from these movies that would help me, maybe in one exam or the other, or in the future. So that also motivated me to always stick to my books no matter what.
So looking at your ages and looking at your faces, you're quite young. How are you able to, manage peer pressure, distractions in school, social media, your friends saying, oh, we have to go out, we have to have fun? How are you able to strike a balance? I'll start with you, Moyin.
Okay, so for me, my school environment was a blessing. I schooled in Osun State, and my school has 6 campuses, but my campus is situated in Ifetedo. Now the thing is, Ifetedo is a very calm place. It's more of a village setup, so there are really no much social activities to be done, right? And then at that time, the school environment was very helpful for me, and also schooling away from home was another factor that really helped me. So there was really no distractions, and I was a triangular person. It was from school to my hostel or to church, so that was like my movement. So I didn't really do much of social activities, so there weren't a lot of distractions for me.
So if your school was in town, would you have, had all the fun?
I wouldn't know.
What about you, Shay? Was it the same thing for you?
Not really. I have friends. All of my friends are high achievers. They are focused people. So I have always had it that way. Every single friend or every single person that comes into my life has to be someone that is focused, so that I can be encouraged as well. I also love mingling with people that are better than, that I consider better than me, so I can learn from them. So most of my friends were high achievers. They had focus in one thing or the other. If it's not academics, they were good in something else and they were really focused on that thing. So having those circle of people around me really motivated me to focus on what was important for me. And we're able to also strike a balance between our academics and our social life as well. But most of the time it was just purely academics, because that was the main goal.
All right, so your school, I would love to talk about Babcock. Davido came from Babcock. Chef Chi came from Babcock. Yes. How do you stay out of this social media content creation, lifestyle, and just focus on study?
Honestly, I really don't think I have found a lot of like social media kind of thing in the school. I think the school itself has already created a system where students have to just focus on their studies. They make it, they have a very huge standard, and it's just studies, church, other activities that would help you. And so we even had church, like we had to go for church services or one kind of solemn service about 5 times a week. So if you are not drained from schoolwork, you are drained from that, imagine after class around 6 p.m. you are going for church again from 6 to 7, and then you are coming back to the hostel. So you would have to pick a side, And then sometimes when we used to have social activities, just to make sure that students are not missing out of out of the social aspect of life. It was always once in a while, it wasn't always all the time. So there was kind of like a balance that was created from the school itself.
All right, back to you, Moin. What's one crazy academic experience you've had that affected you either positively or negatively?
Well, for me, that must be the decision to write my second semester 300 level exam. So I fell sick 300 level first semester. Then during the second semester, I started going to class without having a prior background of the first part of the courses. So I was very scared. And then I started out with the first-class CGPA in my 100 level. So I knew that, okay, this is the goal, first class is the goal, yeah. Then when I got to 300 level and I fell ill, I missed the whole semester. And then I got to the second semester of that same 300 level. I felt like I attended classes. I was going to class, but I think about few weeks to the exam, that was like 2 weeks to the exam or thereabout, I felt like I don't want to write this exam. Since I missed the first semester, let me just miss a whole year. And then my mates should just go. And then let me come back next year and repeat the whole 300 level section again. And then I was not reading again. I was not very serious. I called them and I told my parents that, Mom, I don't think I'll be able to write this exam. I was very scared. I think my major fear was because of the lack of knowledge of the 300 level first semester courses. I felt like I was probably going to fail. I was scared. I had self-doubt. So I think later on I came around. My parents encouraged me to write the exam, and then it came out well. So.
All right. What about you, Shay?
For me, that will be my final year project. The project was one of the most hectic things I've ever had to do in my life. And, it was something that I was struggling with. And I talked to my supervisor about it. And she was so bent on me carrying out that particular project. And she just really wanted it to be done. And then I felt like maybe it was some kind of punishment for me. Also, I didn't know that she was helping me. It was a blessing in disguise. And so, 2 months down the line, I decided to start working on my project. And funny enough, she didn't disturb me concerning the project at all. She just wanted me to start at my own pace and just work on my own pace. And so I started working on it, and I just saw that things were, becoming very easy for me. I had the opportunity to interview a couple of people. I had the opportunity to interview the former ambassador of Brazil to Nigeria, Ambassador Francisco Luz. Also a political diplomat to Brazil around 1999, Ambassador Lawrence Obafemi, one of my professors, Emeritus Professor Omolewa. They were a huge blessing to me, including my supervisors, Dr. Deborah Adeyomoye and Dr. Alex Uguka. They were very, very useful in my life. They really just pushed me forward. They kept on encouraging me. They never tried to bother me or they never for once tried to push me, say where is your project and all of that, while other people were experiencing that with their supervisors. But they just tried to work at my pace, and eventually it became like one of the best things I've ever written in my life. So yeah, that was one of the craziest experience I've had in my 4-year journey.
Okay, having experienced all of this, Muyi, you studied law. You're a lawyer, and Sheyi, you studied international relations and diplomatic studies and history. Okay, so do you plan on practicing if you're not practicing already, or is it just a ceremonial thing?
Yeah, I plan on practicing. Yes, like I said earlier, I'm an aspiring diplomat. Okay. I would love to represent my country in the future. So whatever it would take for me to get to that level, I would definitely strive to get there.
How about you, Shay?
Well, conventionally, practice for a lawyer is usually, people have the thought that it means going to court, litigation, and all of that. But for me, I don't think I see myself going to court like that. And even practicing in a law firm, I'm currently serving, and I'm serving with National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. So I love humanitarian work and just all this disaster management, crisis, and everything going on out there. So that's really what I want to do. I'm very passionate about it, showing love to people, showing care to them and all of that, refugees, migrants and all. So for me, I think that my role as a lawyer would come in that space. Yes.
So what advice do you have for, students that are aspiring to be first-class graduates, starting from you, Shay?
My advice would be to trust God, pray, and then you should not play with your time, honestly, because there is no perfect time. There's no perfect time to study. Just study right there, study anyhow, study your books, concentrate, listen, know your strengths and your weaknesses, because for some people it might be studying, for some people it might just be listening. Know your strengths and your weaknesses, work on that. And also I would also say they should try to get on hands-on experience in that particular field of study, or whatever they feel like is their passion in life. They should get hands-on experience because it will help them a lot in the future. Thank you.
All right, before I go to the advice from you, Shay, isn't this going to be like a wasted effort? You studied law after, graduating with first class, bagging first class degree and all of that, and you're not practicing. Are your parents happy?
Well, my parents are okay with my decision, right? And I also think it's not a wasted effort because my legal knowledge will be useful in that field. And I feel like service to man is the greatest form of service to humanity is the greatest form of service. And where I currently serve, I think it's a place where I get to have first-hand experience with refugees, people fleeing crisis from other countries, and then it's a lot of experience for me. I feel like I can help them.
Great. So what's your advice for students out there?
I would give two advice. I think my first advice would be that there's a measure of self-awareness that I had when I was in school that really helped me. So for me, I made all my notes when I was in uni. I'm not like Sheyi here that reads from, that watches YouTube videos. So for me, I make handwritten notes, and it has to be written in my handwriting. So all the materials we were given, soft copies, hard copies, I didn't read from them. I had to write them in my handwriting. So that meant that I had to be diligent, extra diligence, because it meant that I had to move at a faster pace as opposed to some of my mates who could read directly from soft copy materials or from hard copy materials. But because I was self-aware, I was not in a state where I was competing. I didn't feel intimidated by other people. So it really helped me because I could connect my reading I could connect my reading when I read in my own handwriting. I remember in pictures. So in the exam hall, I just picture my note and I'm just flipping through my notes. So that really helps me. So that measure of self-awareness, because I knew that I have a photographic memory that I remember more in pictures, and particularly when they are written in my handwriting, I could not trade that for anything. I stuck to it throughout. And then my second advice is to have a very big support system, like your parents, your family, your friends. Because for me, my mom came through for me in my 300 level second semester when I didn't want to write the exam. She had to travel with me back to school on a Sunday. We left Ilorin about 4 p.m. and then we got to my school 12 a.m. on Monday morning. And she was like, no, you have to write this exam. It was a lot of support from my family, not just my own personal effort that brought me here.
Oh, thank you so much, Moin, and thank you so much, Shay, for sharing your, stories and inspiring people out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Join us again next time for another exciting interaction. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. My name is Dorcas Yakub Zala. Goodbye.